Hey, everybody, this is Tony, and I'm here today with a special guest, none other than the prolific and dynamic songwriter and producer, Mr. Barry Eastmond. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Tony. Thanks for having me.
No
Pleasure to be here.
problem at all. No problem at all. I'm definitely glad to be able to speak to somebody who knows a lot about music.
Right.
You've been in the industry a very long time and worked with pretty much everybody. Your favorite singer, you
I,
know?
I like to say the A through Z of R&B.
Yes.
Everybody.
From Freddie Jackson to Anita Baker, Billy
Yeah.
Ocean, Aretha
Yeah.
Franklin, so
Yeah.
many people. Brandy, I can't even name them all. But somebody to be able to be involved in writing and producing a lot of these songs that we're going to talk about has to have a special kind of juice to put into this kind of stuff. But what led you in your life and your upbringing to want to say, I want to be a songwriter or a composer or a producer or anything of that capacity instead of just saying, I think I want to be an artist like everybody?
Right. Well, I've been in music since the age of 4. My mom
Ooh,
started me on piano at the age of 4. She heard me banging on the piano. My older brothers played, and I had the ear to the melodies that they were playing at the age of 4. And when she heard that, she said, "Oh, I'm going to start piano immediately." And she played piano herself. So she started giving me
ooh.
lessons. So from the age of 4 to about 6, she taught me. And then I was picking up so fast that she finally said, "I got to get him a proper teacher." Got me a teacher who I studied with for a year. And that piano teacher, Mrs. Maud B. Taylor, great teacher, said to my parents, I think he should apply to Juilliard School of Music Prep Division. I think he has a special gift, and I want him to apply. And would you want him to do that? And they said absolutely. And I applied, I auditioned, and I got in. So from the age of 7, I was at Juilliard School of Music every Saturday, studying theory, ear training, classical music, and that was like my life every Saturday for like 6 years.
Wow.
Eventually, Juilliard dropped the prep division, and Manhattan School of Music took over. So then I continued on at Manhattan School of Music. But at the same time that I was doing that, I started playing in neighborhood bands in my neighborhood where I grew up in Brooklyn,
Okay.
and I started getting into appreciating pop music, R&B. Back in those days, when you listen to radio stations, they just played everything.
Right.
They went from you would hear Beatles 1 second, then you'd hear Diana Ross and the Supremes, and then you'd hear Santana, and then you'd hear Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, that's what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I absorbed everything, and it was about the age of 19. Well, actually, the age of 21, I was graduating college, and I got the call to become musical director for Melba Moore.
Okay.
And when I got that gig, I said, "Okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. I want to be on the road. I want to make music my life. I want to make money at it, and it's going to be a full-time thing." And I thought I was going to be on the road all the time. I thought that was going to be it, musical director and everything. And I did the road for a year, and I hated it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed playing live. The shows were incredible. Melba was phenomenal, but it was everything else that I didn't like. I didn't like, getting up the crack of dawn, trying to make a flight. Then you get there, sound checks and everything, and then I wasn't getting any sleep. It was just too much. So after about a year of that, I decided I wanted to stay home, and I started making a living as a studio musician because I'm
Okay.
a pianist, a keyboard player. So I started getting calls to play on different records, and it was everybody from, oh my God, my first one was Yolanda McCullough, was a session singer on Atlantic Records. She did her first album, so I got to play on that record.
Okay.
I got to play on McFadden and Whitehead's record in Philly, from Philly International.
Yep.
Was
Yep.
on there. I was just playing on so much stuff. Madonna's very first record, Everybody. I was playing on that. I mean, I was playing on everything. Earl Klug's records. And finally, I was working on something, and I think it came down to I was playing on Billy Ocean's session, Caribbean Queen. I got called to play on that.
Yep.
And they asked me, the producer on that record was Keith Diamond, phenomenal songwriter, producer, just the best. He asked me if I had any songs or tracks available that, I could play for him for Billy to hear.
Mm.
And up until that point, I had honestly never thought about making a living as a producer songwriter. I never thought about it. I just, I enjoyed playing. I wanted to play, and finally, when he said that, I thought, you know what, this is might be a great opportunity for me. I can't pass this up. So
Right.
I went home that night and I wrote this track. I brought it back the next day to Keith. He loved it. It ended up becoming a song called Dance Floor on
Okay.
Billy Ocean's Suddenly album. And that was my first cut. And from that point on, I was hooked. I said, okay, I want to start writing songs. I want to start. And then I went back with Melba I started working with her management through an artist by the name of Freddie Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Actually, Paul Lawrence, who was producing Evelyn King and just some great people at the time. I started working with him on a Lilo Thomas record, just doing string arrangements and coming and doing keys. And then he recommended that I work with Freddie also. He said, Freddie's doing his first album. We think he's going to be really major. Would you be interested in writing and producing? And I thought, okay, finally, I'm gonna get my shot.
Right.
And
right.
I said, well, can I just hear his voice? Because I don't know I have to hear somebody's voice to write for them. And I went to see Freddie sing. He was singing backgrounds now with Melba at that time. And I saw him in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. And he had a special feature in the show. And he came out and he sang Good Morning Heartache in the show. And I heard that voice and I was blown away. And literally that night, I went home and I wrote You Are My Lady after hearing his voice. I said, just like that. I wrote it that night, never thinking it was going to be this incredible big song. I thought that's a cute song. I thought it was really nice. I just got married at the time. I said, I played for my wife. She really liked it. I said, oh, this could be good, She liked it. I said, great. Right. And then I said, but I'm not a singer. So I would love if it was possible, for Freddie to come to the house and demo the song himself.
Right.
And so Freddie comes over and I'm thinking, okay, I hope he likes it. I sang the song to Freddie. He said, Barry, if you give that song to anybody else, I'll be so upset. He's like, you better not get. He sang it. I started getting goosebumps. When I heard his voice on it, all of a sudden I felt, oh, this could be something special. Yes. And then it went on to make history. It was just amazing.
Yeah, really absolutely. Speaking of Freddie, I told Melba the same thing. When he won his, I think it was 2018 or 2019 Black Music Honors Lifetime Achievement Award. Right. Yeah. He thanked you as well as Melba and some more people. Yes. How did you feel in that moment when you saw that? For him to acknowledge that, because a lot of people don't always acknowledge the songwriters.
You're right.
They just talk about the hits.
You're right. It was incredible. It was a great moment. I sat there. I remember sitting in the living room watching it on TV and seeing Freddie go up. And I was just so thrilled that he was getting this moment, because he really deserved it. And then when he mentioned my name, I was in shock. I just my mouth was open. I was like, oh my God. and Freddie says that to me every time I see him. He tells me, Barry, I'm never gonna forget you, man. You made my career. You and Paul Lawrence, man. I wouldn't have a career without the songs that you guys wrote. And so that means so much to me, that, he really acknowledged it in such a big moment. I thought that was wonderful, because it was over 30 years ago now. We look at it, those songs were written and produced. It's like a long time.
Yeah. But you know what? The songs have actually transcended because of how great they are, for one. And for two, they've even been sampled a lot. So that helps it come back, even
Absolutely.
more.
Absolutely. One of my most sampled songs is Freddie's Have You Ever Loved Somebody, that I wrote for Freddie with Jolly and Skinner. Every other month, somebody said, I want to sample that song. Can I say? And it's amazing, and it's so funny because when you're producing and writing, you're just hoping, okay, I hope people like it. And you're just hoping that you can get a hit or something. You're not thinking, man, I hope this song is around 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah, but that comes to show you the great, lyricism and production of the song itself, Right, and then Freddie's voice going along with it is just like, it was magic. Yes. It was magic because when you hear those songs, it's just like, wow, okay. You think back to a time when you were at a place or whatever, when you first heard it, it makes you do that.
That's absolutely right. That's right. And people forget that it all starts with a song. If you don't have a great song to begin with, then no matter what I do in the production, it ain't gonna matter. It's about the song. So
Yeah.
the main thing is I've been fortunate enough to have such great collaborators throughout my career, and one of my collaborators that worked on quite a bit of the Freddie Jackson stuff, Have You Ever Loved Somebody, is my good friend Jollian Skinner,
Mm-hmm.
who's written with so many people, you know, Joe, and just a plethora of people. This is incredible. And so we got together, and once I played him what I did with You Are My Lady on the next album, he said, okay, I'm ready. And we just started writing together, and every song we wrote for Freddie just became a number one hit. Nice and Slow. Oh my gosh, Nice and Slow. Have You Ever Loved Somebody? Love Me Down. I Could Use a Little Love. I mean, it
Yeah,
was one
yeah,
after the other.
yep,
It was
yeah.
incredible.
I think Freddie really I think God really smiled down on him
Yes,
in that moment, because it was like everything he did was gold,
that's
literally and
right.
figuratively.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
Gold,
so
gold and platinum.
that's right. That's right. You know, so it was really a beautiful time, and music, especially because, you know, that time music had changed in a way with
Yes,
disco too.
yes,
And to get those R&B records played and be
yes.
number one was something different.
Totally,
So it
totally.
was really something. And then to have him and Luther in the same arena,
Oh,
it was really
unbelievable.
something. It was really
Unbelievable. I
something.
mean,
Yeah.
that was an honor because we all loved Luther. You know, that
Yeah.
was something that
Yeah.
we just loved Luther. And I would always listen to Luther's records because he was such an inspiration, but I never used him as a inspiration for writing. For
Right.
me, when I was writing for Freddie, you know who I thought of when I wrote for Freddie?
Who?
One of my favorite singers, Ron Isley.
Oh.
When I thought about Ron Isley's voice, I thought about Freddie and Ron, and they were writing the same kind of thing. And I thought, would Ron Isley sing this? Yeah, he'd sing it. Okay, Freddie's gonna kill it. I love me some Ron Isley still to this day. Love him.
Yeah,
So
another dynamic
no,
singer. Because
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And for me, production is all about the voice. I'm so inspired when I hear a great voice on top of what I do. It makes everything else just butter.
yeah,
You know, it's just
yeah.
magic. It's magical.
So
So,
speaking of voices, have you ever went into a session over your lifetime, or not even a session, or just heard a voice that made you just, you know, you were just floored before you knew this person? You just heard their voice and you were just floored by a voice.
oh, you know who that was?
Who?
Before I met him, they sent me a demo of Kenny Lattimore. They
Okay.
sent me a demo, and I said, "Who is this? This guy is incredible." And it
Yes.
turned out they sent me a song that they wanted me to produce for his first album, his debut album on Columbia Records, and it was For You that I
Yep.
produced.
Yep.
And when I heard him, first of all, I thought the song was absolutely beautiful. This is one of the most
Yeah.
beautiful songs I'd ever. I mean, talk about a wedding song, just incredible. But then I heard his voice on top of it. It was just incredible. So I couldn't wait. When they asked me, would you be interested in working with him? I said, are you kidding? I'm ready now.
That's right.
And literally, and I got to tell you, because Kenny had been living with the song, he knew it so well. He actually did the demo on the original song. We did that vocal, I say, two takes. He literally sang it down one time, sang it down another time, and we were done. You know,
Wow. Okay.
I came up with this track that he really loved, and then we went in. I did live strings on it because I love arranging. I love arranging strings for my
Right.
productions. That's one of my favorite things to do. And as a producer, a lot of times people say, "Well, why don't you let somebody else write strings?" And I say, "But you know, I've been living with this song now for like whatever, you know, whether it's 2 months or 3 months, whatever it is.
Right.
I know every inflection in the voice, and I know exactly where I want the strings to excel and to, you know, really crescendo and then decrescendo and just
Mm-hmm.
I feel every part of the song. So I do it all myself. So it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
fun.
And For You is definitely a great song. I think Kenny probably can tour off of that song alone for the rest of his
Oh, for
life,
the rest of
probably.
his life. You're right. And I think he told me that this year is the 30th anniversary of that song as well. The 30th anniversary.
Wow.
So he's going to be doing a lot of special things this year for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
song. Yeah, yeah, it's
I can't tell
really
you
incredible.
how many people I've heard say, this is my song, or, you know, this is my wedding song, or I want this to be my
Yes,
wedding song.
yes, that's right.
I
That's
literally
right. People
heard it
come up with
all.
that with people have told me that with "You're My Lady," you know, that was my wedding song, and then after that they said, "Have you ever loved somebody nice and slow?" You know, I got 3 kids because of your songs now. It's amazing. It's amazing. But you know, it's nice to see that your songs have made that kind of impression on people, and that they want to make it part of their lives.
Yeah.
That's the best part of songwriting.
The thing that I love the most about the songs too that you were involved in is that they not only are songs that you know hold on to, but they have a story to go with it. You know,
that's right.
That's the thing that people connect with the most, because it's like, okay, this is not just saying I want to go out and dance and party or something. It's giving me a message. It's giving me a story. It's giving me
exactly,
you know, a ride.
Exactly. And that's how "You Are My Lady" came about, because I said, okay, I have this great voice now, Freddie, to work with. What am I going to write about? And I thought about my wife. We had just been married a year, and I admired her so much that she was working a 9 to 5 for Wall Street investors. I mean, she was just doing a great job. She was incredible. And then she'd come home. I was working at night, also doing Broadway. I was playing Cats at night.
Okay.
So when I was first making it, I was doing everything. So I was doing Cats at night. She would rush home, get home at 6. She'd make me dinner. Literally, she knew I had an hour. She'd make dinner, and then at 7 o'clock, I'd have to leave to be at the show. So I just marveled at how she could do all this stuff and come together. And it just felt like that's who I'm going to write the song about. That's my inspiration. And literally, the song just poured out. It literally just poured out. It was that simple. But so you're right. It really does come to real life stories and what people can relate to. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what makes it special.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever written a song or produced a song that you just felt so much in that moment that you almost said you wanted to take it home and sing it?
Well, I'm not a singer, so that ain't gonna happen. But I mean, there are so many songs that I've worked on that I've just felt so close to. I mean, there was so many. Oh my gosh, I'm just having a moment right now. But I mean, when I think about, you know, the stuff that I did with Anita Baker, all those songs.
Oh yeah.
Just amazing songs. Every single one of them we worked on is just like special.
Well, I got to tell you this. I Apologize is one of my favorite songs ever by an artist, period, not just by Anita Baker.
Wow.
That song is one of my favorites, period. And because it, like I said, it tells a story.
It tells a story.
Although I've probably never been in that situation, like a lot of songs, but you actually feel what the artist is singing, especially when they deliver it correctly.
Well, that's it.
So that's it. I love it.
That's the appeal of what Anita does, is you feel every lyric she sings. Every lyric she sings. Yes. And she just got right into it. I mean, that was her chorus. She started singing that. I went down to the studio to actually play on one of her other songs that day, and we were going to talk about what I would do for that album, Rhythm of Love. She said, there's another song I want you to produce. And literally, I'm on the piano getting a sound and playing some stuff, and I start playing the pattern, the progression of I Apologize. And Anita was in the studio and she said, "Stop, what is that?" And I said, "It's whatever you want it to be."
That's right.
And she literally ran in and started singing the chorus to I Apologize. Wow. And she said to me, "If you could get this song finished," because she was in the process of writing 2 other songs and she had this deadline to get it finished to make the album. And she said, "So I don't have the time to finish it now, but if you get the song finished, all the lyrics, I promise you this song was going to go on the record." I said, "Really?" So I called up my buddy, another great lyricist, Gordon Chambers.
Oh, yeah.
And I called Gordon and I said, "Gordon, I got the song. All I have is a hook, but I got all the music. It's done. And I got the hook. Do you think you can write a lyric?" Gordon came to my house that night. He came out. He heard the song. He said, "Okay, I got it." He took the tape home with him. He was playing in the car. By the time he got home, he almost left the house, like it was about an hour and a half later. He calls me back. I said, "Oh, hey, Gordon, what's up?" "I finished the song." "You what?" He said, "You want me to come back?" "No, not tonight. It's 2 a.m. No, come back tomorrow. We'll knock it out." He came back the next day. He sang me the lyric. I said, "Oh, this is perfect." He did the demo, sang the whole demo down. I went to see Anita that night.
Yeah.
That night. And she said, "Hey, Barry, how you doing?" I said, "Remember that song we were working on yesterday?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "I gotta finish." So what? I said, "It's done."
Like already?
Already, right? Because you have to realize that when you get opportunities like that, you
Yes.
can't let that go by. You have to seize that moment because you don't know. If I waited a week, she might have said, "Oh, I finished all this, the other songs. I don't have to." No, I said, "I'm finishing this tonight. I'm going back to her," and she heard it, and literally, she heard it, she loved it, and she sang her vocal that night. It was that fast. So I would say within 48 hours, this whole song was completed. It was that fast. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is a special song, I tell you. Just hearing the music come in at first alone, you already know that it's something special. But as soon as her vocal comes in with operator, put my
Yes.
baby on the line.
Ooh.
It's
That's right.
that's it.
You're
That's
absolutely
it.
right. Yeah, that's it. It's one of those songs where no matter what I'm doing, if it comes on the radio, I got to stop and listen to it.
Yeah.
That's what I got to do. I have to listen to the song because it really hits me, every time we hear it. And literally those changes that you hear, that's all stuff that came up within 10 minutes of us in the studio, me and her talking about it. And she's saying, "This is the hook." She said, "Barry, where would you go for the verse?" "Oh, maybe I'll play this. Blah, blah, blah." "Oh, yeah, cool. Where would you go for the bridge?" And literally, that's how it came. It was that fast, And I think back to that moment, and I think, thank God, it was all those years of studying back at Juilliard, all those days when I was studying, and I kept thinking, "Oh man, what am I doing all this stuff for? This is ever gonna, And then I realized in that moment, that's why you did that. That's where it comes in handy, and it was magical. It was really magical.
Yeah, absolutely. I thank God that people like you never gave up, because we probably wouldn't have songs like that right now today, and that is what a lot of people are really striving to try to copy and create and get back to now, I believe, especially in R&B music.
Yes.
Because it's so missed, and it's not enough originality that people are like, where is that feeling? Where is that sound? Where is that,
That's it.
thing that gave me, that made me want to have my kids, or that made me want to go and buy my new car, made me want to go with my husband or my wife, or
you're absolutely right.
Where are those songs,
Yes.
So
true.
I really thank God that people like you might have had a moment, but you didn't give up.
But let me tell you, honestly, I was never going to give up. This was all I knew. Music was going to be my life. I knew that from a young age because it was just so a part of my life. But I knew that, okay, there'd be times where I wouldn't get through a certain thing, or I wouldn't get on a certain project, or I wouldn't get what I wanted. But it just motivated me even more. Yeah. Like I think if Tyler Perry said something like, if you can't get into the door, go through the window or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like nothing was going to stop me from making it. I was just going to keep going until that moment came. I just never thought it was going to be. What amazed me was that I had my first hit on my first production. That's what amazed me, is that "You Are My Lady" was the song that just took my career and it soared. I was ready to go another 10 years before I had it, but it just happened that way, and I was really blessed. I was very blessed.
Absolutely. Of course, talking about the artists that you worked with, though, and the songs that you helped create. Over your career span, though, did it ever, I won't say bother you, but did you ever have a feeling of, the artist really gets all the fame of what comes with singing the song, right? So did it ever get to you in any kind of way, that you didn't necessarily get shown in the same light, I would say?
Yeah, it would happen occasionally. Occasionally you work with somebody and they kind of forgot, or they forget who came in with the song, or who wrote the song, or who produced the song, And in the beginning, it bothered me a little bit. And then after that, it just said, I just said, you know what, it's okay. I got, they know where to mail the checks. That's what
exactly.
I didn't let it, because I said, if I get so crazy on that, I won't be able to function and continue to create. You know what I mean? I was so ready to move on and keep going and go on to the next project, that it just didn't even bother me. You know what I mean? I didn't think about it. But that's why it meant so much to me. Like when you said Freddie mentioned me at the honors, because you don't expect that to happen. You just say, okay, well, great for Freddie, all right. And then he mentions your name. You're like, oh my God, wow, that was. So it does really mean a lot when it does happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
But I have to say, most artists I've worked with, I've been fortunate enough that they've always mentioned me or included me in an interview or something and said they work with me, and that's been really special.
Absolutely. And I only ask that because I know we're only human, and sometimes some of us get that way, and we're like, well, wait a minute, I know such and such is on stage accepting this Grammy, but I want to be called out too. I want to be mentioned too. So I understand that feeling because sometimes it's almost like a "what about me" thing. Not that you're ungrateful, but it's just like, am I gonna be, put up here too?
Totally. I understand. You're absolutely right,
do.
but you can't let it consume you. You have to keep moving forward. And like the people in the know, that's one thing I realized though. They may not mention me on stage, but the people in the know that really matter, like the record company execs or the radio jocks, all those people, they see my name. They know who I am. And they say, oh, Barry, I'd run into them at a party, industry party. Man, Barry, what you did on that last record was amazing. So it's like, that made me feel really good. It's like the people that really matter know who's doing it. You know what I mean? And that was really important. It felt great. That felt great.
Absolutely. I think one of the people that really showed me what true humbleness is Tawatha Agee. I just did an interview with her like a couple of months ago.
Yes.
And I tell you no lie, I have never seen anybody just really want to be the person in the background, just want to just sing, just want to just say, hey, you go and do it, I'll handle this back here. And it was so, refreshing to see. And it was so, I was in awe at almost, because I was like,
exactly.
A normal human would want to say, you know what, all them in the background, I want that front spot at some point,
Right.
But she's like, it's not what I really want. I want to be in the background.
Right. What was that movie? 12 Feet from Stardom?
Yeah, 20 feet from stardom. Yeah.
20 Feet from Stardom. There you go. See, exactly. And
I
know Tawatha very well. I actually played on M2May's Juicy Fruit album. In the days when I was a sideman playing on all these different records, that was one of the records I played on. And he doesn't even know this, but M2May inspired me as a producer as well. Wow. I had two producers that I really looked up to at that particular time. Quincy Jones, because the Michael Jackson Thriller and all that. Of course. And those were the big productions, strings, horns, rhythm sections, and keyboards, and guitars. I mean, so much stuff going on, but nothing fought anything. Everything worked well together. And then you had Michael's voice on top. And then my other favorite producer was M2May. M2May would make records with like just 4 or 5 instruments, like hardly anything on it. And it taught me about space. It taught me that you don't have to fill up every space. Sometimes if you put less on, those things that are on stand out even more.
That's right.
So it was just conceptual. It was just amazing. He doesn't even know that, but I did that production with him. I did the just synthesizers. I didn't produce. I was just playing synthesizers on the record. And he just said, Barry, I just want one part here. And we just spent like an hour just figuring out that one part. And I said, okay, well, you want me to put it all over the record? No, just got one spot. I said, really? And then when I listened back to the song, I said, I get it. It was great. Great to work with him.
Yeah. I like I told her, I think M2May is really a creative genius in such ways that people don't even understand or have been shown yet still.
That's right.
To be able to do what he has done and work with the people he has done, I mean, it's amazing. It is amazing.
Exactly. That's so true.
It's truly amazing. So to see people like Tawatha come up and, be around him and work with him, but to be able to have a humbling spirit and to say, I don't want everything that somebody else might have. I just need this. That's it.
Exactly.
I'm like, wow.
Exactly.
So it really is important to know who you are as a person, though,
Yes.
So you don't have to fight for that if that's not what you want.
That's it. Thank you.
So I think that's definitely important to
There you go.
But what
she's
helped
such an
you?
awesome singer. Yes.
What helped you keep your sanity and your lane and your levelness throughout all the years in the industry, I should say?
Family, my wife and kids has kept me grounded. It has been the difference for me in that I have the studio in my house, but what's really great is that I made it normal in my house. Like I work a couple of hours and then I leave it and I go upstairs. I have dinner with my family. When my kids were growing up, they always knew what dad was. Oh, dad's in the basement. You know, dad's downstairs working. And they knew every day they got home from school, they made sure they came downstairs. They came down and said, whoever I was working with, they said hello and met everybody. Always said, hi, Dad. But I mean, they met everybody from Jarreau to Anita Baker to Regina Belle, Freddie Jackson. I mean, and they were so young, they didn't know who these people were.
Oh,
What was great was years later, they when they realized who they were, they're like, oh my God, they were in our house.
Listen, some very important voices, not only people, but voices, you know, for R&B music, period, are some of those people that you just named. And I don't think people really know and understand. Like I said, Freddie earlier, but even Regina Belle. One of my mother's favorite songs is "Baby Come to Me."
Oh, beautiful!
And we love that song. As soon as it comes in, it's nothing you can really say. You know, that silver moon.
Isn't that something?
On my bed.
That's it.
It's something special about that you can't get. You know.
Exactly. I tell people, you can tell the song is amazing from the first bar. Literally, you hear that first melody come in, you're like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be a special song. Because there's just that. I often judge how good a song is by when I get the goosebumps. When I'm working on something and it comes on and all of a sudden I look at my arm and I'm getting these goosebumps, I'm like, oh, we got something special here. We got something good here, you know? And it's like every project I've worked on, if I don't get the goosebumps, then I'm like, okay, we got to work on this more. And then finally I get it. I'm like, we got it. We're there, you know? And it's been great. It's really been great.
Right. But those kind of songs are really the foundation and the blueprint of what R&B should be. And what it used to be. It has changed, but what it used to be. But
we're trying to bring it back, man. We're not letting it go. We're going to bring it back. I mean, when you hear, was it Silk Sonic, Bruno Mars?
Yeah.
That is R&B, man.
Yes.
That is R&B. And I was so happy when I heard that record. I was like, yes, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. Yeah. And it's a whole new audience that's hearing it for the first time. And they don't even realize what they're listening to. They're just saying, oh, that's nice. Bruno sounds great. What a good song. But that's classic R&B right there. Classic.
I think that was a tremendous win for R&B, in my opinion. And I think a lot more people are starting to, you know, like I said, realize that authentic sound of R&B and come back and bring that back in a new way, you know?
Because in a new way.
We can't necessarily copy what has been done.
Exactly.
To do it in a new way. I'm glad about that, and I'm excited. I see a lot of people getting excited about SWV and Escape doing verses.
Yes.
You know, that's something that's special. The 90s was a special period.
Exactly.
In fact, you had some credits in the 90s as well. Matter of fact, that I got to talk about too. Missing You with the Set It Off soundtrack.
Man. Oh, that was special. That was special. That was talk about a phenomenal song and production and just experience. That was really incredible. Incredible.
That song right now today is very it goes back to the movie a lot, of course.
Yes.
But a lot of people really relate with that song, especially losing somebody or even if it's death or relationship or whatever.
Exactly. That's it.
It is definitely big.
Right. That's the key to that song. You know, we saw a scene in the movie and they told us we wanted the song to go right in this particular spot. And again, it was me and Gordon Chambers co-wrote it. And it was just, when we finished it, I said, I think this is a good one. I think this is a good one. And we played it for Sylvia Rohn, who was at the head of Elektra Records at the time. And she said, Barry, okay, I booked studio time tonight. You're going to start recording that tonight. I said, great. It was wonderful. Wonderful.
Wow. All those different artists.
Work with that was my experience working with Brandy as well, which was phenomenal. Brandy and Tamia was so great. And then Chaka Khan, I had actually been on the road with years before when I was a kid. So to finally get the opportunity to produce her years later was wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of great voices on that track. Nobody tried to outdo each other. It went perfectly together, you know?
Right.
It made sense. It made sense.
Exactly. And then you had Gladys Knight too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was a dream for me as a producer. It was a dream. It really was. But
I
the
can only
main thing was
imagine.
making sure everybody had room to sing and they all got equal space. You know, I didn't want somebody to, you know, sing too much in one part. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
really juggle, but it worked out. It worked out really well, really well.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's amazing when you can have, that many artists on a song and still have it sound just as good. I
yes,
think
yes,
one of the songs that I think about, for instance, had Whitney Houston's "Heartbreak Hotel" with Kelly Price and Faith Evans on it.
yes.
You know
That's right.
that was
That's
like, you almost could think one person was singing that song if you didn't know better.
right.
You know
That's right.
that's
That's
how
right.
how much and how seamless it went, together. And I was like,
Exactly.
this is amazing.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of work. I mean, whenever I produce a duet or produce a multi-vocalist song,
Hmm.
it really takes a lot of work. And it's like a script. I write out a script for myself, like who's going to sing what lines. And then I look at it and make sure it's balanced. You know, when I
Right.
look at it, when I'm done, I'll look at it and say, well, no, maybe this person has too many lines, so let me switch it up a little bit here. But it's really a script. And then you go in and you tell them, okay, you're singing these three lines and then you come back here. And so they know what they're doing already. It makes it
Hmm.
easier
Hmm.
rather than going and not knowing what I want and they're singing all over the place. And then it makes it harder later. So I figure it out beforehand and
Yeah,
work it out.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of Whitney, though, you did get to work with her on her One
Yes.
Wish
Your
album.
One Wish album, yeah, which
Yes,
was
yes.
what a special time. I mean, what a special song, and we were just pleased that she loved it so much that she wanted to record it. So that was an honor. That was truly an honor because to me, she was one of the all-time greatest singers, ever
Oh yeah,
to grace this earth. She was phenomenal, phenomenal.
yeah.
And you go back to listen to those the early albums. Oh my gosh, Whitney, nobody could touch Whitney. You know?
At all, at all. I'm glad somebody else said
Exactly.
it. I'm glad somebody else said it. But you know what? I didn't wear my Whitney shirt today, but I absolutely love Whitney because that is one of my favorite artists
Yes.
vocally.
Yes.
Regardless of personal choices and life
Right.
choices,
Right.
that because that has nothing to
Right.
do with me. But
Right. It has nothing to do with it.
vocally,
Bring that. Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
I hate when people get
It's
caught
all
up on
about
that stuff.
vocals. No, no, no. It's about the song. It's about the voice, and it's about what they do with their voice. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah,
really matters to me. Because
yeah.
I go back and I listen to those albums all the time. You know, when I want to get inspired, I listen to those great albums. And it just inspires me so much to come down and just write some more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just listened to I know him so well with her and Sissy Houston. I think it was like
Yes.
the other night. And I was
Phenomenal.
like, it's just crazy how somebody could have so much ability to just soar vocally.
Yes.
It's unimaginable to me. It's unimaginable.
That's
But
right.
to see it happen and to have her basically be unflawed, you
Yes.
know, vocally, it was something amazing. And then to have all these different records where you had pop, you had R&B, you had gospel, you had almost every genre, and it still worked for this kind of voice.
Exactly. That's a producer's dream. When you have somebody like that, where no matter what kind of background you give them, they just fit right in and they soar through it. You know what I mean? They soar.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
to me is what you want as a producer. It's so special to find that, to have that. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
incredible. But I've been lucky, man. So many of the singers that I've worked with have been able to do that. I mean, you think about Billy Ocean and those songs that we did together. I mean, his voice is crazy,
Of
crazy.
course,
The things that he
Billy
would
Ocean is,
do.
yeah,
Oh my
underrated.
gosh,
Underrated.
totally, totally
Underrated.
underrated, and still sounds great. I mean, we just did another record last year that just came out. It came out in the middle of the pandemic, believe it or not. But he still sounds great, man, and he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop, man. So and Rochelle Farrell to have the opportunity to produce that duet
Oh,
with
oh,
Will
please.
Downing.
Oh, please. Don't even mention that name. Don't even do that. Don't even, come on. That is
you know,
not even a vocal anymore. That is something
yes,
unearthly.
yes, that's it, that's it. And to witness that personally, to see that, it's just unbelievable. That was
Yeah.
unbelievable. Just the most awesome voice that you've ever heard, and sure how she does it. You know what I mean? Because she really knows what to do to get certain
Mm-hmm.
sounds and go
Mm-hmm.
for that. And it's just it's wonderful to see, wonderful to see. And
Yes.
did the vocals right here in my studio, man. Just right here in my house. It was just awesome. Really
Wow.
incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It is truly amazing. For you, is there a specific process though that you go through, like, when you're producing or writing?
Your process I go through. Okay, first process is fear.
That has
Can
to
I
go
write?
right.
Can I write for this artist? What will I be able to? What should I write for this artist? Will it be good? All kinds of questions come up of doubt, and then I put that aside and I go to work. I'm like, okay, great. I know there's that voice saying, what are you gonna do? But then you just go to work and you just do it. And once I'm in it, nothing's stopping me. Nothing.
Yeah.
Once I'm in it, I'm going. And I know that at the end of the day, whatever I finish with, come up with, it's gonna be good. I know it, because I won't stop until it is good. You know what I mean? I won't stop until it is good.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that I'm driven. I really am. I'm driven, and I have to do it. And when it's done, I got to be able to listen to it and say, okay, yeah, I'm proud of this. I'm really proud of it.
Does the awards that are given out for the songs, as well as like the gold and platinum albums and those kind of things, for you in your mind, do those take precedence over just doing the song and the feeling and the process and all that kind of stuff for you?
Well, when you're working on the songs and the albums, you're not thinking about that. You're just trying to make the best album that you could possibly make.
Right.
But when after it comes out and it's received in such a way where people really love this record or really like it and they're really happy, and you see results like you've got a #1 song on R&B on the Billboard charts, you got #1 on the pop charts, so you start seeing the results of all your work. Then at that point, yeah, the plaques feel nice. It's like it's a reward for everything that those nights that you toiled over, working so hard, trying to make sure this record works. You get this beautiful plaque, and that feels so good. You know what I mean? But then the plaque for me is like, okay, I got all these plaques on my walls, and it's tons of them, and I feel great. But I can't look at them. I'm focused on the next stuff. I'm focused on the next records. So I can't look at them anymore because I don't want to get distracted and think about, okay, that, yeah, I was great, but no, I'm moving forward. I'm thinking, what's the next one? What's the next one? That's what I always think about. And so, yeah, it's great to get a plaque. It's absolutely great when you work hard on something and they send you that, you get an album. I have one album here that went, I have one album that's 20 million sales.
Wow. Wow.
Yep, I have a 20 million album plaque, and it feels great. No, I'm not going to lie about that. It feels wonderful. But then after that, you just say, okay, move forward. What's the next one?
Right. Yeah, because if you get hung up on it, eventually become a problem for you.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense. But one artist and one song I have to mention still is Jennifer Holiday.
Oh, amazing.
And on I'm on Your Side, that cover.
Yes. Oh, you did your homework.
Yeah. Listen, that is one of my songs as well. And Jennifer Holiday, as a vocalist, is just unmatched. Period.
Yes.
I don't care who you put next to her, beside her, under her, on top of her.
That's right.
She is just unmatched. Period.
Yes. That's right.
So
and you talk about getting goosebumps. That's a singer that'll give you goosebumps, man. When she sang those vocals, I did 4 or 5 songs on that album, and every song she did, I just said, "This woman is amazing. She is absolutely incredible."
Listen, to hear her
we worked
cover,
hard though. We worked a lot of long hours, but it was just worth it because at the end of the day, the results were just so impressive. Really impressive.
To hear her cover I'm on Your Side. Yeah. Of course, when you go and listen to Angela Bofield, you're like, okay, wow, this is a great song, It
is.
But when you go and listen to Jennifer's version, you're like,
right.
This is, you want to almost go and fall in love with somebody at this point.
And it was interesting because I knew Angie's version really well. Angie Bofield, by the way, was another artist that I played with on the road years before that. So when Clive Davis sent me that song, he said, "I want you to do this on Jennifer Holiday." I thought, man, this is gonna be hard. I'm too close to this song. I know it so well. I played it every night in the band, and I thought, oh, this is. But then I stopped thinking about Angie as y'all just thought about the song And I said, okay, I think I know how to arrange this for Jennifer. And it took on a whole nother life. It went a whole nother way. And it just became this beautiful, to me, it's now more, Jennifer Holley's song. Jennifer just takes it. It's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. It's nothing you can really do after that because the plateau has been set like up here already. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
It's crazy how somebody can take a song. It's almost like that Aretha Franklin syndrome,
yes.
where you take a song and you covered it, but it's now really yours. So as soon as Jennifer sung that song, you hear those instruments come in and you hear, and then she comes in the game.
I know. From the first line, she has you. She grabs you, and that to me is the key to every song that I produce. Every artist, I tell them, I don't want to wait till the chorus to get excited about the vocal. You got to grab me from the first line or the first verse. If I don't feel it, then it doesn't matter later, because a lot of people will turn the song off before it gets to the chorus.
Exactly.
Get me now.
Exactly. But she got you.
She got you. Absolutely.
She got you, especially in the beginning, and then that build up with having a friend who comes.
That's right.
That part.
That's it.
It's like, what's getting ready to happen?
That's it. The tension is building. Exactly.
What is getting ready?
That's why I say, as a producer, that's the dream, is to get the voices that make you want to give the best production you could ever do. You know what I mean? They inspire you. These great voices inspire me. Every single one of the songs of the artists that we've mentioned inspired me in that way. That I have to come up to that level and make sure they're supported well. Really important.
I think that is a very a special kind of thing. You have to have a special kind of something in you to be able to not only work with these kind of voices, but to just produce them well. And to write for them well, to the point that, it really makes sense for the record, for what kind of record it is, all of that.
Exactly.
Because everything doesn't work.
Sometimes it's just knowing when to get out of the way, too. Sometimes you got to get out of the way. Sometimes you have to guide people and tell them, okay, this is what I'm looking for, and I want it to soar here, and I want more attention here. And other people, they just do their thing, and you just sit back and let them go. And at the end, you just say, okay, let me make a comp, and we got a vocal, And Jennifer is one of those people where she knows where she wants to go. She knows. Yeah. You just have to get out of the way. Let her soar. And what I found was when she really went for it, because she pushed herself a lot harder than I would ever push her. Wow. I would think vocal was really great. She said, no, Bear, I'm going to do another one. And then she'd go and do it again. And I said, okay, well, she knows what she's capable of. And I'm just learning. I'm just figuring it out. And she would do these vocals that were just amazing. And it made it hard for me later on because I have to comp all the vocal tracks together. And there were so many choices that were great. Yeah. Now I got to try to figure out which is the best one to comp, to put into the comp. But we managed it. It really came out great. It really did.
Listen. I can't imagine having to do that. So I have to give you your kudos for that because
thank you. But you know what? It's a dream. It's like the ultimate fan. You're sitting here and people that you admire, you're sitting here and they're singing for you. You know what I mean? It's like my own personal concert, and they're singing for me, and I'm just sitting here enjoying every bit of it. It's phenomenal. It really is.
It is. And especially with somebody like Jennifer who has a vocal limit that is almost unseen.
That's right. Right.
To be able to sit and listen and write and produce for somebody like that is crazy.
Thank you.
I think that was the problem. A lot of times, she didn't have the right material per se on her voice, and that was the problem a lot in her career.
Right.
It's not that she couldn't sing.
It's about marrying the right material. Exactly. Yeah. The voice. Right. Not everything is going to work right. Yeah. But once we got around her and I heard that track, and she put her voice on that song, I'm on Your Side, I said, no, this is special. This is a special one right here.
Yeah.
You get that feeling, yeah. And it's so funny that I can always, one thing I have a talent of doing, I can always pick the single after an album is done. I'm always the one that can tell you, oh, this is your first single.
Mm-hmm,
this is the song you want to go
mm-hmm.
with. And most of the time I've been pretty on about picking that song and making sure, and it usually does pretty well, And I've been able to, I think that's one of the reasons I've been so successful at what I do, just knowing when you have all the elements together, knowing when it's right.
Yeah.
And just saying, okay, I think right now this song is the single you want to go with,
Mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
what it's about.
Do you, besides the goosebumps, is there anything that, gives you the feeling that say this is right?
It's just about it's the song, whether when you write a special song, when you write that great song, you know it. Mm-hmm. You kind of know it in your heart, even though you don't want to outwardly get too excited and say, I wrote a smash. You don't do that. You keep it inside. You just like, for example, perfect example. Have you ever loved somebody? When we wrote that song, I always thought, man, this is a good song, man. I kept saying, this is a good song. But for what it became years later, I would have never told you it was going to do that. I always said, I love this song, but I don't know if people are going to get it. I don't know if this is one of those songs. It's not one of those obvious smashes. It's one of those songs that's going to grow on you. Mm-hmm. And now people love that song. When Freddie does that song live, people go crazy.
Yeah.
Go nuts. And that was one song where my collaborator will tell you, Jolene, when we wrote that song, I said, do you like this song? I said, I really like this one.
Exactly.
I think it's good. And they put it out as a single and it exploded. The song came out and exploded. So it's just, sometimes you don't know. You have a good feeling, and that's what I trust. I have to trust my gut. At the end of the day, every time I do something, any song I produce, I have to trust my gut, and my gut will always tell me, this is your hit. That one didn't quite come out to what you thought it was going to be, but this other song, that's a smash. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of what my talents are, just knowing when it's right and knowing, how to get it.
Yeah, I think you definitely did a good job.
Thank you.
Thus far, and still are.
Still doing it.
So it really is, like I said, an honor to just be able to, talk to somebody who has such great insight on music, period. Because that is something I love. A lot of people say, music is a soundtrack to my life. And, which it is for a lot of us, because when you're sad, you probably listen to music. When you're happy,
absolutely.
When you get married, when you have a baby, all those different things in life. And,
that's right.
You have something to look back on and you're like, wow, I remember this song because,
exactly.
We had a reunion to this song or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So right. I really love that. I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Do you have a dream artist that you want to work with that you haven't worked with?
The dream artist that oh gosh. I hate to say a dream artist. There's some out there, but I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to talk about it yet. I think it'll happen.
Okay.
I have a couple of things that are coming out that are really exciting. Again, they're not released yet, and I don't want to jinx. I don't want to talk about it before they start publicizing it. But I got something really special coming out in the next month or so, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's going to be great, a really great record. So, yeah, man, I just keep going. I don't stop. I just don't stop. I never stop.
Look, please don't.
It's like breathing. You got to do it, and songwriting and production for me is just like that. It's like breathing. Yeah. I get so much joy out of it. And the more I do it, I find that, I guess it's the experience too. You just trust yourself even more, you just follow your gut. And you say, you know what, you know what it is. If other people tell you a certain thing, you're like, no, I don't think so. I have to go with what I'm feeling.
I think I got a pretty good judgment call.
Yeah. Oh man,
I know what you mean, but I think I got this one. Hold on.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I'll be there in a second. But let me go ahead and do this.
Exactly. But sometimes you have to really, like you said, just trust yourself, because we get in the way of our own selves with doubt.
Yes.
Sometimes. So
exactly.
It's important.
You're so right.
It's important. If you had any advice to give to an upcoming songwriter or producer or both, what would you say to them?
I would say, first of all, listen to all kinds of music. when you're coming up. Listen to everything. Like I said, when I was a kid and we turned on ABC, AM radio, we heard everything from Supremes to Earth, Wind and Fire to Santana to Beatles to Billy Joel. And that, all of that stuff, all that different types of music, I absorbed it. I really did. I appreciated everything I heard, I really liked. And I took little things from everything. Part of what makes I think my production special is that because I have such a history of music and I know so many types of songs and so many types of artists, if I want to go a certain direction, I can think about, oh, that's that record. Oh, that you want to go in like a kind of a Marvin Gaye kind of direction. Oh, you want to go Earth, Wind and Fire. Oh, you want to go a little Beatles. Oh, I could just instantly go there. So I would tell young artists or young songwriters, listen to everything. Just listen to everything. Don't get locked into just, oh, I just do this. Don't do that. Open yourself up to everything and listen. And take from, I have young producers come up to me now, ask me, man, what sounds did you use on Nice and Slow? What did you use on Love Zone? Because man, we've been trying to get that sound. I'm like, yeah, but you go for your own sound. Create your own sound.
Right.
That's what you want to do. Don't copy what I did. I'm flattered that you liked what I did, but create your own sound, because then that'll give you your own stamp. You know what I mean? All of a sudden it's gonna be your sound. And I tell people all that. That's really important. Create your own sounds. You know, a lot of people sample all the time, but I say try to come up with your own tracks too as well. Don't rely on just sampling. Come up with your own sounds and your own progression. Make it more of your own song that you're building up, and become a great songwriter. That's what it's about. Become a great songwriter. I'm so honored. I'm teaching at NYU in the songwriting department, and actually teaching these students about how to write a great song and what are the elements and how do you put that together and how do you write for different artists. Everything is different. I don't write the same song for one artist that I would for another.
That's
so
right.
It's everything is just something you have to think about. So I just try to inspire my students and young people. Just say, you know, really do your homework. It's really about doing your homework. Don't just come in one day and say, yeah, you know, because you could be hot one day and then next day it's over.
That's right.
You want to have a career. That's what you want to have. You want to look back and say, man, I've been doing records for 20, 25 years. I'm still going strong. That's what's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's all great stuff. Like you said, that originality, you know, is what's needed.
Yes.
Is what's needed. Absolutely.
Because even though I studied Quincy Jones and I studied Mtume, and there's so many other producers that I listen to, I just listened and I took little things, but then I eventually said, no, it's got to be my own sound.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a Quincy clone. I'm not going to, and I could never do what Quincy does. I could never do what Mtume does, but I could do what Barry Eastmond does.
That's right.
And then I could say, hey, check this out. And thank goodness we have enough results, that we had enough hits that people say, oh yeah, I got it. You know, you know what you're doing.
Exactly. We'll believe you this time.
Yeah, we'll believe you this time. And the other thing is, when you're as a producer, be open to the artist, because it's a two-way street. Totally be open. Don't be the kind of producer that tells you, okay, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. No, you've got to be open. And you've got to hear everything they're saying as far as suggestions they have, the way they want to sing a certain thing, a line. And so you have to be open, because if you tell them, no, that's not right, it's got to be this way, it's not going to work.
That's right.
Not going to work. I believe that all the good vibes that go on when we're making the record come out when people hear the record for that first time. When they hear it on the radio, all those good vibes are coming through the speakers. Yeah. And that's you're feeling all that good energy that we had making that record. That's what makes it.
Absolutely. Special. Absolutely. Yeah. I think you hit it dead on the head with that one. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Of course, when you have the projects that come out that you can talk about,
yes,
you definitely got to come back and we got to talk about those. Because I can talk all day long about music, but I can't hold you on that.
I can see that. You know your stuff, man. That's great. I really respect that. It's great, because I mean, I wish more young people like yourself did that, because it really is important to know our history, especially as Black people. R&B and soul music and all that, we should know.
That's right.
We have to know. That's
right.
We can't let that stuff go by. It's too important.
Yeah, it is. And I listen to, you know, I like to listen to personally the greats, you know, and what I mean by that is people like Anita Baker and a lot of the artists that we talked about earlier, and you know, Denise Williams, who I had on, and
Oh,
Frida, and all those
absolutely.
people, you know, even
Absolutely.
going back to Motown days, you know, because a lot of that stuff is the foundation of what we have or what we
Yes.
want to have, you know.
Yes. That's
So
right.
it's
That's right.
important. It's important, and I
That's
don't
right.
think people really realize that because, like for instance, I listened to a song Lil Wayne did,
Mm-hmm.
like in 2005 or something, somewhere around there, but it sampled a Supreme song.
Right.
So I'm just
Exactly.
like they don't know, you know, people don't know if you haven't, you know, listened to this stuff, you don't know that. But
Exactly.
it is important. Even with
It's
Kirk
important.
Franklin sampling Patrice Rushen, like
Right.
you don't know
Right.
that kind of stuff,
Right.
you know.
Right. And
So
it's great because I remember my kids were young and the song would come on the radio and it was a sample of an older song. Kids would say, "Oh, that sounds so great. That sounds so new." I'm like, "No, let me play you the original version
that's
first.
right. That's right.
Let check this out." They said, "Oh, okay, I got it."
That's right. That's right. You
Oh
have
man,
to. You have to.
incredible. You have to.
But I like I told somebody before, I always believe in knowing where we come from so we can know where we're going, you know? And
Yes,
I think that's very
that's right.
important, musically, history wise, or you know, in any other arena wise, because if you don't know who you are, or what you've, you know, what's a part of you, you're lost, you know.
You're lost.
So that's what
Absolutely.
I personally believe. So I listen to some of the stuff today. Don't get me wrong. I listen to R&B music and rap music of today, but mostly what's on my playlist is 90s music or either 80s or even
Right.
70s
Right.
or a lot of the Motown stuff. That's what's on my playlist.
Exactly. Exactly. It's
So
great stuff. That's the great stuff. And
yeah,
it will be around forever. You
yeah,
know, like anytime I hear Ain't No Mountain High Enough, or
that's
you
right.
hear What's Going On. I mean, those songs are just I don't care how many times I've heard it, I always have to hear the whole song when it comes on.
Right, right, right. And see, people don't really realize the caliber of songwriters that Nick and
That's it.
Val was, or
That's
are
that.
rather, you know,
That's it.
and artists
That's right.
at that,
That's
you
it.
know. So
That's what's important. See, and we have to get back to that level of writing and artistry. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We have to get back to that
yeah,
because that's what's gonna continue the legacy is
that's right.
great songs. That's what's gonna continue it. You know what I mean? And I'm so I love the fact that kids are saying, you know what, I know your record from, I go into schools, well, before the pandemic.
Uh-huh.
I used to talk to kids and, and I would say some of my older songs, oh yeah, yeah. I would say Missing You from
Uh-huh.
Set It Off. They went nuts. You wrote that? You wrote that with Brandy? To me, they would go nuts. And I was like, see, I touched the new generation. You know what I
That's
mean? They
right.
know that song and they love it just as much as people like when it first came out in the 90s. You know what I
That's
mean? So
right.
that's really saying something. That's really
Yeah,
special.
yeah. I think it's like I said too. I think it's important to highlight not only that, but the songwriters like yourself, and the producers like yourself,
I appreciate that.
because we know Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis for Janet
Yes,
Jackson stuff. Although they
absolutely.
produced a number of other things, including the
Right.
SOS Band and Sherelle
Oh,
and
they were
Alexander
phenomenal.
O'Neal,
Talk
and
about great
you know,
producers.
but
Incredible.
they are, you know, widely known in a way because of Janet.
Right.
But
Right.
they aren't the
Right.
only producers and songwriters that are out there. And
Right.
not only that, not only them, but Kenny and L.A. Reid aren't the
That's
only
right.
people that are, you know. So these songwriting teams are great. Don't get me wrong, and they produce a number of hits in our
Right.
lifetime and songs that we
Right.
love. But they aren't the only ones out there that have produced
That's right.
the
That's
hits
right.
that we love. You know.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. It's important. It's really important to do that. And again, for myself, to be able to jump from R&B to jazz with like Anita, and then I do pop records with Britney Spears.
mm-hmm.
That's only because of my background. That's what that's from.
Yeah.
Because I know other types of music so well that it just you tell me what are we working on today? If you tell me a country record, I'll be ready.
That's right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
that's how schooled I am in music. I've always listened to stuff, and it's always been. And I think it was because my parents really listened to a lot of music in my house when I was a kid. I was just nonstop music.
Yeah.
My father had amazing jazz collection with Duke Ellington and Count Basie records, Louis Armstrong. So I had
Mm-hmm.
that in my head at the age. Imagine at the age of 5 and 6, absorbing all of that and just taking it
Yeah.
in. And and finding the cool stuff in the music, and just something about it. Even though I was a kid and I couldn't understand what the arrangements were, I just liked it. It's something about it made me feel good. Yeah. And that to me is what music is supposed to do. Music should make you feel good. It should make you feel. It should make you feel. That's what music should do. It's got to make you feel. If you don't feel something from a song, then it's not a great song. You know, it's not a great. Yeah. So it's about that feeling.
It is. Absolutely. It is. I told Denise Williams the same thing when I talked to her like a month or two ago.
Oh, great!
But with the song "Free," I know a lot of people love "Silly," and I love "Silly" too, to heights that are unimaginable. But "Free" for me, it was just like it was something so different, especially back then, and it was like to have it so cool and calm and collected. But then you still gave me like the vocal was there. Everything like it was perfect. That's right. So songs like that is what I love. The emotions really gave you songs that you felt emotions on.
You felt exactly. That's so
you
true.
Know, it's a lot of I can go through a whole list, but I can't. I'm not gonna do it. But just stuff like that, you know, and that's what I really love. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to push to people, you know, that are interested in it, of course. But that's the kind of stuff that I want to push, and that's why I said let me reach out to Mr. Eastmond and talk to him.
I appreciate that. I really do. I saw your email. I was very excited. So thank you.
Listen, I was excited when you replied back. I said, okay, then. I was just excited.
When you sent me the history of everybody that you've interviewed, I said, oh no, I want to do this one. I saw some great names in there. I saw Lattimore and just, you know, you had some great people in there. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah. I try because, like I said, those people are the people that I feel like have done tremendous things musically, and sometimes a lot of them get overlooked. Really,
that's right.
Even I told Frida Payne, you know.
Oh, it's another one. Frida,
I talked to her in the interview, and I told her, you know, right there, because I couldn't understand. You had the beauty, you had the talent, you had literally everything, but it was just like, what happened? You know, because you had Band to Go that was a hit, and you had a few more hits, but it's like you should have been bigger than like life.
Look, I say the same thing about Phyllis Hyman.
Yeah,
I worked with Phyllis Hyman and had the most awesome talent I've ever. Again, she was another one. I played with her on the road.
That's right.
When I was going through my little circuit, she was one of the artists I played with, and she would just blow us away every night with her performance. It was just awesome. And why she never reached that next level of, you know what I mean, of stardom, I'll never understand. I'll never understand, you know. So.
I don't think anybody could, especially hearing her vocals. Hearing her live, for one thing, and then to hear her do a live show singing, you know, like Living All Alone, it was like, how can you not, you know, like love this? Like, how can you not?
Right.
It was just something different about it. You didn't sound like anybody else, and you still delivered. It was range. It was everything that you needed, you know, in a singer.
That's it.
It was there.
That's it. Now, I think sometimes it's the label that doesn't quite understand the artist they have and not sure what kind of record to make with them. You know what I mean? I think that's part of it too, and not knowing what to do with them. But you know, she was just one of those artists I always dreamed of. I saw her being a huge star, just a huge star. It's incredible.
But that's why I said, though, you know, people like her, had she still been alive, those are the kind of people that I want to call on. You know, I want those kind of people to tell their stories. I want those stories to be heard, because long after I'm gone, I want somebody to still be able to click on this, whether it's on YouTube or any other tube or website or however. I wanted to be able to say, wow, this is what this woman went through, or this man went through, or, you know, this is what happened in their career. Because sometimes you listen to the records and you don't understand what, you know, took place during that person's career.
That's right.
To even have them go where they at, because we look at somebody make a record and we automatically think, oh, they're a millionaire. No.
Right. That's right.
It doesn't work like that, you know, because your record may not sell like the record, the label wanted to sell. And then they might, you know, depending on the contract you have, it might not work like that. And
that's right. That's right.
I talked
Absolutely
to
right.
Mary Wilson of Supreme before she passed some months ago, about 6 months,
Wow.
and she told me about the contract that they had, and they were basically making pennies off of those records. You
Yeah.
know, all those
Wow.
millions of records that were sold, they were only making pennies.
Right.
But because of the image that was portrayed, you felt like they were millionaires. So
Yes. Right.
you never really
Right.
know. And
You
and
don't
and they
know.
had it. They had the machine behind them to help them look like a millionaire. Don't get me
That's
wrong,
right. Of course.
but every artist doesn't have that.
Right.
Because every label, you go and look at Warner Brothers or Elektra or somebody like that. If their focus is not on that kind of thing, they're not going to put that behind you to make you look that good.
That's right.
So
That's right.
you really
Yeah.
have to
That's right.
dive deep into seeing what's going on with these people to know what actually took place, because
Exactly.
they can literally be here today and gone tomorrow, especially with a
That's right.
sound.
That's right. That's
You
so
know,
true. Very true.
today they're at number one R&B, not even necessarily pop, but R&B, and then it's like next week, that's it. They're like, wow,
That's
what
it.
happened to this person 30 years
What
later?
happened? Yes. Thank you. Thank
So
you. So true.
it's important.
Wow. Well, man, this has been great. I really love this, man. It's been
Yeah.
fantastic.
Like I said, I appreciate you. I'm gonna close out so I can cut this record off. But
Yeah.
I really do appreciate you, and I thank you so very much for doing this. But before
Thank
you
you.
go, just let everybody know where you can be found. If you have any social media websites, and
Oh,
your website as
well,
well.
my website is barryeastman.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on Twitter at Barry Eastman, Barry Eastman at Barry Eastman. And
Okay.
that's the best way to get me, is definitely on Twitter, and just, have me, follow you and stuff, and whatever. I can DM you, whatever, if you have something interesting you want me to check out. But that's the best way to get me.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen, this is none other than Mr. Barry Eastman himself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tony. It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you. I love
No
it.
problem. No
All
problem at
right.
all.